This is my show, 10-Year Sandwich, the show. It celebrates the last 10 or 15 years of my work in sculpture. It concerns the identity of Mr. Milk Bottle and the disintegration of Mr. Milk Bottle's identity. This is my lenticular self-portrait. It's one of those things like used to come in cereal boxes years ago that if you flip it, it has two different images. This is me as Mr. Milk Bottle, or Mr. Milk Bottle as me. This is Mr. Milk Bottle contemplates ... It was designed for Jim Hubble at his vacation home. It sits next to a lake and people drive by on their boats and look at it. This is Mr. Milk Bottle's alter ego, Mr. Milk Bomb. It's a dairy Molotov cocktail. This piece is essentially a frame, but it's important because it introduces the concept of Mr. Milk Bottle's other side. This is called the medicine cabinet, and in this medicine cabinet are 4 cartoon bombs, like the old style bombs with a fuse that appeared in early cartoons. This piece I did because of the attitude that a lot of people have that if only you destroyed that segment of people, everything would be wonderful, everything would be healthy. So that's why the bombs are in the medicine cabinet. This piece is called No Use Crying Over Spilt Milk. It actually happened because I tried to ship a large ceramic sculpture of Mr. Milk Bottle to New York, and it got destroyed in the process of shipping. So eventually I used urethane plastic in a big clear plastic storage container, and I poured my first urethane sculpture, and there it is. This piece is called Mr. Milk Bottle After His Adventure with the Steamroller. The piece is pretty self-descriptive. What surprises people is how active it is, even though he's smashed completely flat. This piece is called Fat Boy in the Landscape. Fat Boy is my version of the early nuclear weapon. I put it in the landscape because actually nuclear weapons have been a part of our landscape ever since the first one was dropped. So we're used to it. It's just a part of how we live. No? This is called Inflatable Fat Boy, the sculpture, and then on the wall we have Red Fat Boy. I did an inflatable Fat Boy at the moment of impact because it was an easy way to do something large that conveyed the idea of an explosive object. It's also a Christmas ornament, lawn ornament. The Red Fat Boy is just a red, angry fat boy. This is Bronze Fat Boy. It's very permanent, very heavy. It's very beautiful. It's designed so that it looks like something you could play with, like a candy apple. You could even eat it, but it will kill you. This piece is called Stop Action, Mr. Milk Bottle as photographed by Edward Muybridge in 1897. It's essentially an ode to the work of Edward Muybridge. We have three-dimensional Mr. Milk Bottle standing on a piece of film, a film strip made out of marble and granite to elevate it. On the back wall, we have Edward Muybridge's rare color photograph done in 1897. This juxtaposes some of Muybridge's actual work with the Mr. Milk Bottle sculpture. This piece is called Action Figure. It was the beginning of the Stop Action piece. It was simply Mr. Milk Bottle marching very vigorously, as he does. This piece is a print, and it's called The Badge of Qualities marching giant rubber toy. It's Mr. Milk Bottle. It's the first study I did of marching Mr. Milk Bottle. This piece is a long frieze, practically the whole length of the gallery, called the Walking Head Frieze. It features Mr. Milkbaum running from fate, which is incidentally the individual title of each piece. This piece is the culmination of the Walking Head Frieze. It's sometimes called animation. If you stare at the Mr. Milk Bottle on the left for a long time, and then shift your gaze to the right, you'll see a flashing after image.